Next, let's turn to the all-important topic of ethics. Here, I'll outline some general considerations while also pinpointing some important specifications from the Office of Research Ethics. Broadly speaking, one can distinguish between procedural, situational, and relational research ethics. Likewise, I've also added the additional category of reflexive ethics for further consideration. On the procedural side, it's important, as has already been said, to gain clarity on the value, relevance, and potential impacts of your research. This latter consideration is particularly significant, as it is crucial to have a firm grasp of any potential downstream impacts of your project and how this might affect different groups. Likewise, it's also important to ensure that there are no conflicts of interest associated with your research, as well as to obtain informed consent for interviews and maintain anonymity and confidentiality where required. On the situational side, it's important to regularly take stock of your research as it unfolds. Are there any emergent ethical ambiguities or unanticipated dynamics at play? If so, these must be rendered sufficiently transparent and followed on accordingly. If necessary, elicit consent at multiple points throughout the data collection process to ensure the safety and comfort of all involved. On the relational side, it's important to act respectfully, avoid any coercion or manipulation, of course, and faithfully enact your agreed-upon informed consent guidelines. All in all, strive to demonstrate and uphold an ethic of integrity, honesty, and care. Furthermore, be sure to maintain appropriate boundaries and expectations throughout the research process. On the reflexive side, it's important to pay attention to issues of power and to account as transparently as possible for your personal role, position, values, biases, privileges, and assumptions. Recognizing that we are part of the world we study and that these factors inevitably influence the shape and trajectory of our research is crucial for maintaining critical integrity. And lastly, strive to be attentive to issues of voice and representation, i.e., which voices get included in your project, and how are different narratives, groups, and perspectives represented. Here it is especially important to strive for inclusion and avoid harmful stereotypes. And I guess it goes without saying, but above all, do no harm. Now, at this point, I'd like to consider some important caveats from the Office of Research Ethics. Given the nature and timeline of MAPTHA system, it's not really possible for registered teams to gain formal ethics clearance before initiating research. Hence, your projects should be designed in such a way as to avoid the necessity of a formal ethics review, which can be a fairly demanding and time-consuming process. So how can this be done? Put simply, by focusing your interviews solely on personnel authorized to release information or data in the ordinary course of their employment about organizations, policies, procedures, professional practices, or statistical reports. In other words, stick to professionals. Designated personnel in the public, private, or nonprofit sectors who are sharing information related to their ordinary course of employment and who are officially authorized to share this information in that capacity. For instance, professors sharing knowledge about their respective fields, officials sharing knowledge about general trends, or authorized practitioners sharing information about their work or organization. These all constitute fairly safe targets for Map the System. However, for further clarification, please be proactive in seeking relevant guidance from lecturers or the Office of Research Ethics, on whose website are listed relevant policy statements and a number of activities not requiring ethics review. Finally, all research should uphold the core principles of the Tri-Council Policy Statement for the Ethical Conduct for Research Involving Humans, or TCPS, which is currently in its second edition. And these are respect for persons, concern for welfare, and justice. To quote the TCPS, respect for persons recognizes the intrinsic value of human beings and the respect and consideration that they are due. Respect for persons incorporates the dual moral obligations to respect autonomy and to protect those with developing, impaired, or diminished autonomy. Concern for welfare means that researchers should aim to protect the welfare of participants, and in some circumstances, to promote that welfare in view of any foreseeable risks associated with the research. And justice refers to the obligation to treat people fairly and equitably. Fairness entails treating all people with equal respect and concern. Equity requires distributing the benefits and burdens of research in such a way that no segment of the population is unduly burdened by the harms of research or denied the benefits of the knowledge generated thereby. In sum, these are some of the essential ethical considerations to keep in mind while designing your project.